All right, now the markets are up, and so far it's been a good start to the second half of this year. But conversely, the Russell 2000 small cap stocks, that index had its worst performance in the history since this index was created in 1984. So if you're in those small cap stocks, you're getting beat up. And that's probably one of the reasons why we're seeing so many bankruptcies. These small cap stocks, they're underperforming. And they're not able to go to the capital market and raise money when that debt ends up piling up. Now, I don't know how this index is going to perform in the second half, but the bankruptcies, they're going to continue. And we're going to be talking about big cap names soon because the debt, it keeps piling up, and interest rates, they're going to stay elevated. Now, one of the stocks that's performing well today is Tesla, and that stock is up 9% after the company released good news that they deliver more vehicles than Wall Street estimated. And this stock is up more than 28%. Just in the last month. But on the flip side, the Chinese automaker BYD, they released news this morning that sales are up 21% in the last quarter. And that company, they're eating into Tesla's market share. And I'm afraid it's going to get worse for Tesla because BYD, they're already building plants in Mexico. And when you're selling a product that's vastly cheaper than your competitor, you're most likely going to take market share. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So Tesla's fame and fortune may be short-lived. Now there's more bankruptcy news, and it's not good. Bob's Stores, which is a Connecticut-based outdoor apparel store, they filed for bankruptcy a few weeks back, and I did a few videos on them, and it looks like they're going to be actually liquidating. They're going out of business, and they have more than 110 stores and several thousand employees. So this is going to be a gut punch to the Northeast. Now, following up on that news, Iowa State, the state of Iowa, they've been rocked in the last 3 days of factory and plant closings. Now, yesterday I reported that the tractor company Deere will be closing a plant and moving their production to Mexico, costing Iowans more than 600 jobs. Well, there's news out today that Bridgestone, they're going to be following in place of Deere. They're getting out of Iowa and they're moving production to Mexico, and that's going to cost more than 1,000 jobs. And on top of that news, Smithfield, the pork processor, they're going to be closing a plant in Altoona, Iowa, and that's going to cost that town several hundred jobs. And I'm seeing this happen all across America, where many of these companies, they're packing up and they're moving to Mexico. Now, we've seen that for the last 3 decades, but it seems like the last remaining companies, they're getting dressed, they're packing their suitcases, and they're headed to Mexico. Now, with many of these companies, the only remaining American factor will be the top executives. And they'll have an office on some floor in some town, some city somewhere, but it'll only be about 20 or 30 employees. And the rest of the workforce will be somewhere else outside of the U.S. Now, on to commodities. Oil is actually turned down. Now, oil was up almost $1 earlier, over $84 a barrel, and it's now under $83 a barrel. But the latest models from the National Hurricane Center show that Hurricane Beryl may be making its way towards that Texas-Louisiana border, right there where Refinery Road sits. And I tell you, if it does, those oil platforms, oil rigs, and refineries, they're going to be shut down for a week or more. And you're going to see energy commodities take off. And all that's going to do, that's going to mean more inflation, more pain at the pump for most Americans. Now, over the precious metals, gold and silver, they're pretty much unchanged. But platinum and palladium, they're shining. And palladium, it's up almost 5% today, back over 1,000. And its brother, platinum, it's back over 1,000, up almost 2.5%. And for you gold bugs, if you don't have this in your portfolio, you might want to consider one of these two metals. Now, the agricultural commodities is pretty quiet, other than orange juice. Orange juice is up more than 4%. And this commodity is just off its all-time high. And you know what that means? That's going to mean a higher priced product on the grocery shelf. Now, other than that, it's pretty quiet data-wise, and it's going to be a half a day in the market tomorrow on the prelude of Independence Day. This quick stock market commentary, please like and subscribe.